Baby, welcome in. It is a Monday East Coast bias Ringer gambling show, recapping the aftermath of Week 17. Take score, winners galore. My three amigos. I'm one of the three amigos. John Jastremski here in New York. Joe House in Washington, D.C. The champion of the Wise Wager Trophy on the Ringer Sunday pregame. Our dude Raheem the Dream Palmer in Las Vegas. Fellas, a pleasure to see you. A lot to recap after what we saw on Sunday. Joe House, I got to start with the Sunday night game. It was a heavyweight battle royale between the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers. I was on pins and needles, final drive of the game after we cashed an anytime touchdown with Juwan Jennings, Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson running hook and ladders. I got to survive the final play of the game. I'm cursing out Robert Saleh earlier in the drive for not blitzing Caleb Williams. But at the end of the day, the result is a San Francisco win. Now we have the stage set for Week 18 as far as the Niners, the Seahawks, Saturday night, and the winner of that game will be the number one seed in the NFC. So, House, the Ringer Gambling Show is presented by FanDuel. FanDuel's got it all. Same game parlays, quick bets for jumping in live, and your way, so you can build the bet that fits your parlay. Plus, don't miss out on holiday offers and surprises all month long. Download the FanDuel app or head to FanDuel.com/gamblers to get started. 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. in Connecticut. Once again, I came away super impressed by the Chicago Bears. But if I look at the coaching job that Kyle Shanahan has done, we can talk Ben Johnson, I get it. We can talk Mike Vrabel, I get it. Kyle Shanahan, with all of the injuries on that defense, to have the Niners humming like this, to have the Niners in a position where they're winning it at home, to basically have the Super Bowl in their backyard and not leave the state of California for 5 weeks is impeccable. Can they survive Week 18, and can they be a 1 seed despite this defense having as many problems as they do?
I mean, the most incredible thing to me, sure, they have the injuries on defense. They won 5 games with Mac Jones. I mean, don't forget that is a team coaching-wise. And if you look at the odds right now to win Coach of the Year, I'll just say I'm befuddled. I am not a hater, okay? But Mike Vrabel at plus 125 and Kyle Shanahan at plus 150, what are we talking about? The Patriots have beat one team with a winning record this season. They have a historically easy strength of schedule. I think one of the easiest strengths of schedule in the last 30 years. I mean, kudos to Mike Vrabel and his staff arriving and dropping immediately sensibility, institutional discipline, a winning attitude. Great job. Win the division. An awesome quarterback that they leveraged right into a tremendous season. But what Shanahan has done with this 49ers team to be in this position on Saturday night to win the NFC and have the 1 seed, I don't really think there's much a comparison, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, when I look at Mike Vrabel, I think a lot of his success is Drake May making the leap. I don't necessarily see, tremendous coaching in the same way that you're getting from Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDonald, and Ben Johnson, or even Liam Cohen. So I think he's mispriced within the market. I actually think, Kyle Shanahan, he still hasn't won this award yet. So if the 49ers win this week, then I think he finally gets that narrative award.
And listen, that game is going to go a long way in determining and deciding, Raheem, not just a Coach of the Year award, but if you think about the calculus of who is going to go and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, to me, if you're San Francisco or Seattle, if you're either one of those teams, I don't see a pathway for the loser to find their way to Santa Clara. Because if you lose the game, Dream, let's be honest on this. You're going to end up being a 6 seed. You're going to have to go to Philadelphia in round 1. Then you might have to go to Chicago in round 2. And then who knows? You're taking on the winner of the game or you're taking on the Los Angeles Rams. It's a daunting road to the Super Bowl. Am I being dramatic, Dream, and saying, if you're Seattle or San Francisco, you better win Week 18 if you want to go to the Super Bowl? Because to me, the loser ain't getting there.
I think you're being a little bit dramatic just because I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite. I mean, you look at Philadelphia. They play one offensive half every game. You look at the Rams. Like, you could say that they're the favorite, but they can be passed on. I don't think there's any team that's head and shoulders above anybody, and I don't think there's any team that can't be upset at home. I think every single team is flawed. You look at Chicago, like, they really only play, like, I mean, they played tremendous offensively last night, the whole game, but they're like a second half team, and the defense leaves a lot to be desired, particularly when they aren't forcing turnovers. So I think every one of these teams is flawed, and anybody could beat anybody. So it wouldn't shock me if you just had one team come from the wild card round and make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with Dream, JJ. This is hard to map out. Now, I do think that the Rams getting themselves to the 5 seed, and they will guarantee the 5 seed for themselves if they win out. If they beat Atlanta tonight on Monday Night Football and they win at home against Arizona, they are guaranteed the 5 seed, which means they get to go, and I'm going to go ahead and just say it, to Carolina. You're
going to say that? I'll say they're going to buy into the second round of the playoffs. How about that? I'll go one better than you, okay?
Same difference. I don't countenance Tampa Bay. I don't talk about that team. That's not a professional organization. With whatever's going on with Tampa, they are bound and determined to lose to everybody down this stretch. So they can buzz right off. But that sets the Rams up. I mean, honestly, really nice for after that first round matchup. I know it's a road game for them. I guess it would be against the winner of Seattle or San Francisco? Is that where the winner of 4-5 goes next?
Depending, assuming the Packers don't go and shock everybody and beat Chicago. Assuming
it's a nice path for the Rams. That's all. That's just the observation.
So I'm with you guys on that. I'm not with you, though, on Seattle or San Francisco winning 3 road playoff games. I can't see it. With the Niners defense, I love what Shanahan's done. I'm a Brock Purdy stan. I'm a believer in that offense. That defense can't win 3 games on the road, and Sam Darnold, forget it. The idea of Sam Darnold winning 3 playoff games to begin with, then talking about him winning in Philadelphia, then winning in Chicago, then dare I say winning against whoever it might be as far as those other NFC West teams are concerned. Hey, the moral of the story to me is, if you're the Seahawks or the Niners, you better win Week 18 if you want to be playing in the Super Bowl. Now, the league got what they wanted, boys. We got a Week 18 game for all the marbles in the AFC North, because the Brownies, and we all love this because I bet it. Raheem, I know you had it. Haas, did you have the Browns as well?
Yes, I bet it.
That a boy. 3 for 3.
I actually didn't bet that game.
Oh, Raheem, you missed the fun. I figured you were in on it. I apologize.
No, I didn't touch that game at all.
All right. Well, I did. And I was very happy about the result for 2 reasons. 1, my FanDuel account had a little bit more money in it. Number 2, we now have Ravens and Steelers in Week 18 on Sunday Night Football for the division. And House, the way this shakes out, and I've been so done with this Baltimore team, they make me sick, yet Derrick Henry was Superman on Saturday night. Yeah. The Raven offense was unstoppable on Saturday night. And now the Ravens, and I want to give Raheem credit for this, and Dabbundo, when he comes on later, I'll give him a pat on the back too. They told me when we did the show yesterday, you get Ravens, Steelers, Ravens will be favored. And I think for a whole lot of people, if you're watching the Ringer Sunday pregame, you probably wish you sprinkled a little of that plus 350 on Baltimore to win the division, which, by the way, you are not going to get right here, right now, going into Week 18. House, without DK Metcalf, are the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely cooked in this matchup?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. There's no such thing as absolutely cooked between these two teams. I have a complaint I want to lodge first and foremost. Why are those two teams the Sunday night game? When they're doing San Francisco and Seattle dirty. Let those teams get the proper.
Well, you know what they should have done, House? They threw their buddies at the worldwide leader a bone, and they gave them the San Fran Seattle game, and they gave them Tampa Carolina. I'm with you. They screwed those two teams. They should be Sunday at 4:25. That's when that San Fran Seattle game should be. Because let's be honest, The Sunday slate of games, House, is an absolute embarrassment. They got nothing until Steelers and Ravens. The games stink. ESPN got the 2 big games of the week other than the Steelers and the Ravens, you know?
Well, I just think that Steelers-Ravens would have been fine on Saturday night, and then you let the number 1 seed on Sunday night. And we had the number 1 seed last year with the Vikings and Detroit Lions. That was the Sunday night game last year. But that's just a small quibble. Who the hell knows what's going to happen between Pittsburgh and Baltimore? I don't have any feel for it at all. Who's playing quarterback for Baltimore? I don't know. Does it make sense for a beat up Lamar who hasn't been good in 3 months to go out there in Pittsburgh and be unable to move? Probably not. Snoop looked pretty good, or maybe Baltimore will just remember that Derrick Henry's on their football team. Their defense was good. Last week. But that Packers team just got into they're in nowheresville with all of the injuries, especially on the offensive line. So I have no way of handicapping that game. I don't know what to do. I might just stay away, Dream.
Okay, so for me, this game is predicated on who's quarterback. If Tyler Huntley is playing, I want the Ravens. If Lamar Jackson is playing, I want the Steelers.
This is great. Could you imagine, Raheem, going back to week 1 at the start of the year, if I told you that in a winner-take-all game for the division, Raheem Palmer would come on East Coast Bias on the Ringer Gambling Show for all of America to see and say, guess what? I'd rather have Snoop Huntley than Lamar Jackson because of the injuries. And you know what, Raheem Palmer? I think you're spot on with that. I think it's the right take.
And here's the thing. You got to remember, if Tyler Huntley is playing, the Steelers are going to close as a favorite. And if Tyler Huntley is playing, Harbaugh is going to run the ball more. And you're going to get more Derrick Henry. If Lamar Jackson is playing, you have a guy who's banged up, who probably won't run as much, and Harbaugh's not going to give the ball to Derrick Henry as much, and the Ravens will be laying points. So I just think it not only changes the calculus of the game based on who's starting, but it also changes the calculus of the line movement and the value that you're getting. So I think the value is one way or another based on who's playing quarterback. So that's what I'm looking out for.
House, I know you want to stay away. I can't resist. Steelers, Ravens. I'll have a play on it. Not yet. I'm going to wait and see what's going on with the quarterback situation. But I do have a pretty strong lean in the game, and you'll have to wait and see later in the week to see what side I may be on. I have one final thought for you guys on week 17. And Raheem, at 425, you had the Eagles taking on the Buffalo Bills. And the line was at 1.5 for basically most of the week. All of a sudden, it shot up to 3. We were talking about it on Sunday, trying to make sense of it. And when we were doing the Ringer Sunday pregame, Dream, if you told me Buffalo would hold Philadelphia to that point total, I would have said this bet's in the bag for the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to win this game going away. Well, Buffalo was scoreless for 2.5 quarters. Then Philadelphia's offense completely goes in a tank in the second half. You have some hook and ladder magic from the Bills. You have a remarkable catch down the field. And I understood what Sean McDermott was doing. Josh Allen got his rear end beat in the game. It didn't mean a whole lot for Buffalo because they're not going to win the AFC East anyway. You don't want Allen playing a fifth quarter in bad weather against that defense, knowing what's coming in the postseason. I get it. You win the game right then and there. And Josh Allen missed the throw. Bottom line, he had a receiver wide open. Let's acknowledge the fact that the best quarterback right now who's playing missed a throw that he should have made that would have won the football game. Now, that said, Raheem, the concern for Allen and this state of the Buffalo Bills is on one end of the spectrum. The Philadelphia offense that I keep telling you guys, even though I lost money on the game, the Eagle offense is still broken. The idea that the Eagle offense is fixed because they played the Commanders and they played the Raiders was just a total bunch of crap. And I want that on the record. I want everybody to know it. You have those two elements at play for two teams that a lot of people are betting to go and win the Super Bowl, Raheem. What was more concerning to you?
Well, the Eagles offense has been a concern all year long, but I look at Buffalo. Anytime they step up in class, they kind of get beat down. Regardless if they have Josh Allen or not, this is not a good football team to me. And To me, it said a lot that the Eagles couldn't do anything offensively against that Buffalo Bills defense in the second half, because I've seen lesser teams go out there and do whatever they want with the Buffalo defense, run the ball. So I'm gonna say it's the Eagle offense. Like I think it's pretty clear that they're not. You can't trust this team, because ultimately the defense did everything they possibly could have done to win that game, and the offense had 17 yards of offense in the second half. So I'm definitely going to say the Eagles offense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what are you going to do with this Eagles team? The thing we keep saying is, we'll wait till Lane Johnson comes back. Well, he was supposed to be back, early in the week. Part of the idea for the Eagles was that Lane Johnson was coming back. He didn't. So we watched them once again try and starve their way to a hold on to the rope victory, and they got there. But man, for that is it's unwatchable football. So I don't know. They're if Lane Johnson comes back, the Eagles get the benefit of hosting one of San Francisco or Seattle. I don't know. I mean, they don't want Seattle. That's the thing that I would say for sure. Seattle coming into Philadelphia would be super live, in my opinion.
Look, that Eagle offense, not beating the NFC West teams. You want to tell me maybe they could win a 3-6 game? They are not winning multiple games in the postseason if their offense is going to play like this. I don't care how good their defense may be. In that NFC, with the road that's in front of them, with road games potentially staring them in the face in the divisional round and the championship round, newsflash, ain't happening. We got so much more coming your way. East Coast Bias Boys, right here on the Ringer Gambling Show. We got a Monday Night Football game to get to. Joe House has a live parlay that he gave on the Ringer Sunday pregame. How's he feel about it? We'll find out next. East Coast Bias, Ringer Gambling Show, John Jastremski, Joe House, Raheem Palmer. To close out Week 17, it will be the Los Angeles Rams, as House wisely mentioned. They take care of Atlanta. They take care of Arizona. They will be the number 5 seed. And I know we've had some wacky games in postseason past. I know somebody's going to lecture me on the Saint Seattle game back in 2010 with Marshawn Lynch, but I'm telling you point blank, if the Rams win the next 2 games, they're getting a first-round bye into the divisional round with either Carolina or Tampa. So, period, end of discussion. That is just stone cold fact. This game, though, in particular, is interesting, though, House, because seeding always fascinates me. How teams approach seeding fascinates me. Sean McVay has done both, where he has prioritized a certain seed. There have been other years where he hasn't particularly cared about what the seed may be, because they went to Detroit, if you remember, 2 years ago. He was more than comfortable sitting guys in Week 18. This game, Atlanta's been better over the last couple weeks. They beat Tampa outright. They won against Arizona a week ago. And the line is at 7.5. You have a money line parlay that's pretty live at the moment. Seattle was a winner. San Francisco was a winner. You took Atlanta, which was a big-time roll of the dice. How do we feel about it now, Joe House?
Yeah, the thesis for that 3-leg parlay was, if San Francisco and Seattle both win, and they were both favorites in their games, then it's perhaps the case, it would perhaps be the case that Sean McVay, who does look for rest wherever he can get it for his guys, might try and grab some early rest with this Rams team. But I don't think, now having looked at it and really taking my cue from the fact that the line, it was 8.5 kind of over the weekend. It settled in at 7.5, and it hasn't moved one bit, even with both San Francisco and Seattle winning outright. And I think the explanation for that, there are a couple factors here. In the first place, the Los Angeles Rams have the Atlanta Falcons 2026 first round pick. And the way this is lining up, it looks like the Rams could get themselves a top 10 pick in the 2026 draft and greatly help that effort by beating the Falcons outright tonight. I also think it's the case that this is probably the last audition for Matthew Stafford. He can wrap up the MVP tonight on this, grand stage, the Monday Night Football stage, Week 17. And so I think that he will get considerable run. But I also think the Rams should be motivated to lock up the 5 seed and play whichever poverty team comes out of the NFC South. I mean, that is really, you said it earlier on the show, JJ, the equivalent of a bye. So I'll be looking to hedge out of this this parlay. But I like
maybe get a Falcon opening drive touchdown house. Get that
and
rock and roll.
I can
get on the Rams
right out of it. There we go. Yeah, I'll be.
Raheem, what's your read on the game?
Okay, so you look at Kirk Cousins throughout his career on Monday Night Football. His first 9 starts, 0-9 straight up, and 0-9 against the spread. Last 6 starts, 5-1 straight up, 4-2 against the spread. So it appears that he's erased all his Monday Night Football demons that he's had previously within his career. Now, you look at this matchup specifically, there's a lot of sharp money all over the Falcons. It was 8.5. Now you're seeing 7.5. And you look at the Rams, they are kind of banged up. Obviously, you got right guard Kevin Dotson out. You got Devontae Adams. He's doubtful for tonight. You got Arlick Jackson. He's questionable. So they're kind of banged up offensively. So I understand the sharp money on this. This is kind of a stay away from me. Like, I was leaning Atlanta, but it's just a motivational spot, just the spot where it feels like that the Rams kind of really need to get right. And also the fact that it feels like this is the last game of the season for them. Like, I don't think they're going to be playing next week against Arizona. So I kind of want to stay away from this one. Just from a numbers perspective, I think it's dead on.
I understand the skepticism because also you're backing a team that has given you fits and has driven you to drink all year in Atlanta. That said, though, I think the Rams can do enough in this game to get out and dodge. You mentioned the injury concerns, Raheem, which are fair, which are very, very reasonable. I think Atlanta can run it well enough here. The question is going to be, are they going to execute in the red zone? They're going to have to score touchdowns in order to go and cover this number. I'll say they do just enough. I think we see a highest scoring game, 28-24, something along the lines of that. Rams win, don't cover. It's not a great play for me, but it is the final game of Week 17. I want a little skin in the game. I'm going to hold my nose and take the Falcons plus 7.5 in this matchup. Now, any read for you, Mr. Dream, when it comes to the total?
Yeah, I don't have anything on the total. Like,
Nothing on the total. House.
If I had to play this game, I would be looking at a teaser for the Rams, and I'd be teasing that with I probably would tease that with maybe Cincinnati next week. Or if I didn't do Cincinnati next week, maybe I'd play both sides.
Denver. There you go. I got you a teaser like Denver.
I was thinking, maybe one of those divisional games for maybe you tease the Steelers up because I don't know if the Ravens are going to get margin on the Steelers team, or maybe you tease the 49ers or, both sides of those games.
Yeah, I love this tease idea, and the other leg for me is the Indiana Hoosiers on Thursday. Tease them.
Oh, okay.
Down to a half.
Wow,
point.
a little cross-sport tease. I'm in house.
Why wait around? Let me go ahead and cash it on Thursday. I really think that Indiana is going to take Alabama into the deep water. So that's just a half point outcome, and then Rams by 1.5. I like this idea of a tease here. I'm not messing with the total though, Joe J.
Are you messing with the spread at all, other than the tease that you just mentioned?
I do think that what you just described is like a very plausible game script. So grabbing the 7.5 and letting the Rams win by a touchdown feels like a reasonable outcome.
All right, the Duke of Anytime Touchdowns has returned. Juwan Jennings took care of us on Sunday Night Football. I've had a ton of fun with these in these primetime games. So this is like my new tradition now on these Ringer Gambling shows. Anytime Touchdown, lottery tickets. They're fun. They're exciting, and we've been successful. So ain't broke, don't fix it. Tyler Algier, who I know hasn't scored the last couple weeks. I know they've been more pass-heavy in the end zone. Going to have to run on the Rams. I'll take them at plus 210. And then our guy, Colby Parkinson. You know I like him, Raheem. With no Devontae Adams. Plus 140 for Parkinson. Plus 210 for Algier. Anything for you prop-wise?
If we're going to throw, anytime touchdown darts, I'm going to go with Ferguson. Like I think at plus 260, no Devontae Adams. I think Kobe Parkinson, he's starting to like 5-6 weeks ago he was in the plus 300 range. Now the market kind of knows about him at plus 140, so you're not getting that juicy payout. So I kind of would go with Ferguson at plus 260 if I'm throwing a dart.
Yeah, I had like the other running back for the Rams. I like Blake Corum with potential explosives against this Atlanta run defense. The total for him is 43.5. So I'm going to parlay his run total with an anytime touchdown. And I'll have that price as the show goes on here, but he's plus 160 for an anytime touchdown, and over 43.5 is minus 112 at the FanDuel Sportsbook for Corum. I like Corum with a little bit of a burst here.
Boys, when we come back, we'll have the bets that all of us cannot wait to make for Week 18 in the NFL. Is it going to be the Saturday night games? Is it a monster division game? You'll find out when we return right here on East Coast Bias. It's a Monday Ringer Gambling Show with the East Coast Bias boys, John Jastremski, Raheem Palmer, and Joe House. And before we get to the Mulligan, before we get to the picks that we can't wait to make for week number 18, Raheem Palmer and I, during the break, just discovered a great glitch in Ringer 107 Dream. We were adamant and we were pissed off about the fact that we lost, we thought, on the Indianapolis Colts, because on our graphic for Ringer 107, it has the Colts getting 5.5 to the Jaguars. Dream, I think it's fair to say we did a little digging, we did a little research, and that graphic might have been a little wrong because we got 6.5, big boy. So a 4-1 week for me and you, buddy boy. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way I was going to take 5.5 on the Colts. Like, that was one of my suggestions, and I said 6.5. So I just didn't understand how we got 5.5. And, there's been other contests that I'm in that I got Colts 6.5. There's a real life bet where I had 6.5. So I totally didn't understand how we had 5.5 on this contest. So I'm glad that's
it just goes to show you, man. You got to make sure you dot the I's, cross the T's.
Check the
got to make sure everything's right for the Ringer 107.
Always check the numbers, boys. That's exactly right.
Proud of us. Now, if there's a feeling of regret, Joe House, for me specifically, it's not even on the Week 17 card, but I think you're going to like where I'm going here. My mulligan, and it's more of a season-long mulligan, is I regret the love affair that I had with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going back to the summertime, going back to the early portion of the season, where I thought this was going to be a team that wins 11, 12, dare I say 13 games. It looked great for about 5 or 6 weeks. Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate. You had all of this high-flying offense. The Buccaneers have been an absolute disgrace for the better part of 8 weeks. They lose outright to Quinn Ewers and the Miami Dolphins. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons. They lost to the New Orleans Saints. That's my mulligan, Joe House. Way too much faith in Todd Bowles' Buccaneers.
Yeah, and to be blunt about it, it's the defense that let you down. Their defense has been absolutely deplorable for going on 2 months now, which is why Todd Bowles is not going to be the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into next season. Obviously, Baker got hurt midway through. He never really recovered, and all of that rotating, talent on the offensive side of the ball with the injuries to Bucky Irving and Mike Evans, they all sort of played a part in this, but really that Tampa Bay defense, especially against the pass, has just been an abomination. But I have a tiny regret in my underdog play. How did none of us on our Sunday show take the Browns outright to beat the Steelers?
Excellent point.
We talked about it. I grabbed the points with the Browns, but why didn't we just? It's what the league wanted, and we knew it was going to be the Browns Super Bowl, and it was. And I guess what we didn't really forecast enough how much disarray the Steelers' offense was going to be in by trying to replace DK Metcalf with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. The MVS experiment is a big fat failure. That would be the regret. How did none of us took the Browns outright? Come on, we're better.
Listen, I had the Dolphins outright. So I had a little bit of a juicier price. I see Anthony Dabbundo's fired up to tell everybody that he had the Browns outright because he did give it out, I believe, on the Ringer Sunday pregame. So we got to give credit where credit is due. Dream, you had a great week. You won your Wise Wager trophy, but I'm going to speak for you. Your mulligan is thinking the idea that Vegas could go and beat the Giants. Vegas, my God, Raheem. I mean, what a disgrace.
Fortunately, you talked me out of betting that.
I'm proud. See, friends
you talked me out of betting that game.
Be.
But the thing is, like, when I said it on the show last Monday, I had no idea that they weren't going to play Max Crosby and, Brock Bowers wasn't going to play.
Fair.
And once you told me that stuff, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not betting this game. But I really thought I thought that they were going to try to win that game, and once they sat everybody, I said no. So I guess that's my mulligan. But honestly, I think my mulligan, is that I think the last 4 weeks, I should have been on the Saints every week. I was on the Saints this week, but I mean, this Saints team, honestly, I know they aren't going to win the division, but they're the best team in that division.
They're playing great football. Give the head coach a lot of credit and give the quarterback a lot of credit because they've changed the entire vibe and feel of the organization. And I'm with you on that, Raheem. I bet them against the Jets. I stayed away from the game in Nashville against the Titans. I absolutely should have taken the Saints. And job well done, Joe House. I know you did because it was your Wise Wager on Sunday.
Not the cutoff house, but here's the crazy thing. Ted McMillan is minus 105 for Offensive Player of the Year. Right behind him is Tyler Shough at plus 100. At one point in time, he was like 100-1.
Well, how about this? On week 16, the Ringer pregame show, that Sunday morning, I came on there and gave out a little two-leg parlay. Let's play the Saints to win that game outright, and let's get Tyler Shough over 275 yards. That little parlay paid plus 480, but the point of that was for me to say on the show that Tyler Shough is sitting there at Offensive Rookie of the Year at 18-1 odds the morning of week 16 of the NFL season, and now he is what plus 150?
Plus 100.
Even money, basically.
Even money. So please, I implore everybody. We're not doing this show for our health. We're trying to put money in your pocket. 18-1 would be a nice ticket right now. I hope somebody was paying attention.
I hope so too. Week 18, it's tough, fellas, because you're trying to figure out who's playing, who's not, who cares, who doesn't. So looking ahead is a delicate balance. Raheem, is there anything that stands out on the Week 18 card already?
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's on the road to victory. I can't believe I'm singing it. But yeah, the Commanders, Josh Johnson. I know that my Cowboys made Josh Johnson look like a competent NFL quarterback. He is not a competent NFL quarterback. The Eagles are going to be playing for the number 2 seed. So I'm laying it with the Philadelphia Eagles. And everything else, I pretty much have to kind of see where things are going. I'm leaning towards the Seattle Seahawks right now. Oh, actually, I'm not leaning with them. I thought they were dogs.
Line flipped. Flipped this morning. Seattle's at 1.5 at the moment.
Wow. Yeah, I thought they were dogs. So, but yeah, right now just the Eagles, and then I have to think through everything else.
Fair enough. House?
Yeah, I have 2 parlays. One's a 3-legger, one's a 4-legger. These are money line games where I think that the incentives and the motivation line up. We're going to see a lot of resting, especially for the Chargers and Green Bay. So I have Denver money line so that they just go ahead and lock down the 1 seed. It makes a lot of sense for them. There's no point whatsoever for the Chargers to do anything but rest every single guy on that team that matters. Minnesota at home against Green Bay. Green Bay, exact same position. There is no incentive whatsoever. They are locked into the 7 seed. Let everybody get the rest that they need. I have Dallas going into New York. Now, part of this is the selfish motivation for me of needing Dallas to get this win.
So you want to hit your total.
7.5 wins. That stupid tie against Green Bay. Gosh darn it. So I need week 18, Dallas to win and the Giants. Now, that one pays out at plus 134. I feel very good about that one. But if you want to go ahead and add in the Chiefs, I wouldn't be mad at you. The Chiefs winning outright against the Raiders, who I don't know could they should put them in a bowl game, put them in the whack-a-mole bowl game or something. That one pays plus 220 if you put the Chiefs in and make it a 4-legger.
All right, I threw in a 3-leg money line parlay as soon as the lines came out. Kansas City, you mentioned it, House. The Raiders are going to make sure they get Fernando Mendoza. They are not going to screw that up. Kansas City is going to win the game. I don't care who's playing quarterback. Denver, going to wrap up the number 1 seed. And then last but not least, I don't care if it's Mitchell Trubisky. I don't care if it's Ty Johnson. The New York Jets are the biggest joke in the NFL going at the moment. They're unwatchable. Their point differential in the month of December is the worst I have ever seen. It is the last home game in the history of the old Ralph Wilson Rich Stadium. It's going to be a Buffalo party. So Buffalo, Denver, Kansas City, I have that as a 3-leg money line parlay, and I am laying it with the Bills. You know, a mistake maybe we have made on this show is we haven't bet against the Jets enough. I know I had Miami, I know I had New Orleans, but I've missed some opportunities. Jacksonville, New England yesterday. Just fade Aaron Glenn's hapless, sad sack Jet football team. So those are a couple of bets I made.
Do they still have not generated an interception yet?
That is correct.
Oh, my God.
And newsflash, they're not going to get one in Week 18. Wouldn't bet on it, that's for sure. Wouldn't bet on it. I don't care. The Jets are that bad. They'll lose, and they'll lose by margin to Trubisky. When we come back, Anthony Dabbundo says goodbye to Phillip Rivers, has to figure out what's wrong with his beloved Green Bay Packers. Who is he adopting in this year's postseason? 3 and out with AD as we wrap up East Coast Bias next. Of East Coast Bias right here, Ringer Gambling Show on a Monday. John Jastremski, Raheem Palmer, Joe House, and we welcome in Anthony Dabbundo for 3 and out. Buddy boy, I hope your Christmas was merry. I know you had fun with us on the Ringer Sunday pregame, and I guess congratulations for nailing Cleveland outright.
Yeah, it was a good Sunday. Browns, Eagles, and then late night, deep into the night, for us, JJ, Juwan Jennings coming through with a big touchdown in the fourth quarter to swing that game. What a game. I think the biggest takeaway that I have from Week 17 is actually just what we saw last night from both offenses. And seeing that, yes, both defenses are flawed units, but if those offenses are able to put up those kind of numbers, they become considerably more dangerous in a playoff setting than they have been, or at least than I thought they were entering the last few weeks.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because there has been a sense of haterade going back to the midseason regarding the Chicago Bears. And for me, AD, my feelings on Chicago started to change when I watched them at Lambeau Field go wire to wire with the Packers, who were obviously a healthier unit at that particular point in time. Then they went to Philadelphia, won outright against the Eagles. And even in this loss against San Francisco, and I know the Niners have no Nick Bosa, they have no Fred Warner. I watch what they're able to do as far as Caleb Williams, as far as Ben Johnson drawing up plays. I'm a believer in the Bears, AD. I am. They've won me over these last couple weeks. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not ready to go and say they're going to win multiple playoff games. But haterade be damned, the Bears have earned my respect. No question about it.
Yeah, I think it's been the trend line, really, because they were a pretty league average offense the first half of the season. By overall DVOA offensively, they're 13th. But if you just zoom in and you say weighted DVOA, where is this offense trending right now? They're actually 6th in weighted DVOA. And you saw that, in the game against Green Bay that they lost. It was still a pretty good second half offensive showing. Of course, yesterday against the Niners. So this offense, Caleb, it's not always pretty, but it's just enough of a run game, just enough of an explosive play game that you start to wonder. I still don't trust their defense. I still think that, they're not 100% healthy, but even when they are, they've had issues this year against good offenses, and they've relied a lot, of course, on the turnovers. But, where would you rank Chicago, I guess, in the NFC playoffs right now? Not seed, but just like odds to win it.
House, jump in.
I don't know. 4th or 5th.
I think that's reasonable. I would put the Rams ahead of them.
The West teams?
Yes.
Would you put them behind Philly?
Is Lane Johnson playing?
Let's say yes. I think he'll be back for the playoffs.
Then yes, I have him behind Philly.
See, I would put the Bears ahead of Seattle. I'm sorry.
Really?
Don't be.
No,
Seattle.
no.
Here's
I can't
my
get there
pushback,
on that
guys.
one. I mean, it
Hold
depends. I
on,
mean, if
that's
they
fine.
lose
I know
or
you
win,
guys
it's
are
a
all
pretty
ready to
big
go and
deal.
defend Seattle. Go win
Sunday.
on Saturday night.
They're my last team
If
left,
Seattle has to go on the road, they are not winning multiple playoff games with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. I'm sorry, they're not.
It's a fair position to take.
I mean,
I don't know how you argue it.
The evidence would
I don't have a
suggest
rebuttal.
that you are correct.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I think we all feel
So,
that way, honestly.
Here's what I would say, boys. If Seattle beats the Niners, they can absolutely get to the Super Bowl. That's what I keep proclaiming.
Here's a crazy thing, though. It's like Seattle's actually like they've been a better road team than they've been a home team.
I get that, Raheem, but it's the playoffs in January. They're gonna
I
go.
feel you.
You're telling me Sam Darnold's winning 3 road playoff games? No way.
I hear you. You
know what I
hear
mean,
you.
bro? No
Yeah,
way.
I got you. Yeah.
The first one could well end up. If they lose, they end up with the 5, or is it the 6?
No, the 6.
The 6.
Yeah, 'cause
they'd be going. They'd be going to
presuming
Philly,
We're
the
also
Rams
assuming
went
the
out.
Rams are going to win the next 2 games.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which I would not bet on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be really fun. I mean, it's kind of hard to do the NFC playoff picture stuff without knowing who's going to win that game on
Correct.
Saturday night.
Excellent
right?
point.
So, I think that we can all agree that whoever wins Carolina, Tampa, or depending on the Falcons' result, Carolina, we expect that to be kind of the sacrificial lamb of the first round. They're going to be like +3 at home the first week against either the Rams or the Seahawks, and probably the first game of the playoffs. Like they're setting it up perfectly for it to be. That's the Shakey's game, right? But I don't know. I mean, I think that we're still going to have to kind of wait and see how this plays out before we get in. But I guess the question is, if you have a strong opinion on that game Saturday night, you probably should take that team to win the conference now and just play the upside. If you like the Niners or the Seahawks, then you wait. If you don't like either team, wait, see who wins, and then fade them in the market, which won't be that hard because whoever wins, I suspect, will vault to become the favorite to win the NFC.
You think they'll put them ahead of Los Angeles still?
If the Niners get the 1, I think you'd have to, just because of the parity in the conference and playing one less game, one fewer game. Yeah, I think you'd have to.
I want to hit you on San Fran before we get to take 2. Can they survive with this defense, AD? Because listen, Shanahan has done a wonderful job with the team. Brock Purdy played his tail off on Sunday night. I thought it was one of the best games he's ever played in his career. McCaffrey is a cheat code, as we know. And they draw up space. Their wide receivers find a way to get open. They find a way to survive with all of these injuries. Yet this NFC is a beast. Can this defense win? The same question you'd have about Seattle and their quarterback, I'll flip it to you with San Fran and their defense. Can they survive with this defense?
That's why I'm secretly hoping the Niners do win. It was actually going to be something I was going to work into the first point, but didn't get there. If the Niners do win this game on Sunday, which they may well, they're at home, they're a slight underdog, but it's basically a coin flip. We're going to have a number 1 seed that is 31st in defensive success rate. And as much as we all respect what they've done offensively, they've also played a relatively friendly schedule. I know that the West ended up being really tough this year, but like, where is their good defensive performances against good teams? I struggle to find one this season. Like, you go look at like Houston when they played them, they got torched, of course, last night. So this Niners team, like, what's the big defensive performance? You probably would have to go all the way back almost to week 1 to find it.
The Seattle, that wacky game to start off the season. Yeah.
You have to go all the way back to that. And it's like, that was a long time ago.
And, I mean, that was when they had Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and before everybody got hurt.
Right. And again, the pressure rates too, like the entire profile defensively, giving up big plays, not getting pressure, consistently getting the ball moved on them. Their first down series conversion rate is in the bottom 8. So all of those metrics that we look at to say like, okay, down to down, we're going to throw out the wacky plays, the turnovers. How good is your defense really? They're just not very good. And not even mediocre at this point. So I think that the strategy we should come up with, if the Niners win Sunday, what is the best way to fade them in the market going forward?
I mean, are we sure? The question I have for you is, are we sure we should fade them? Because there seems to be, like this year more than ever, there seems to be a mismatch on these teams. Either you have a good offense or you have a good offense and a bad defense, or a bad defense and a good defense and a bad offense. You look at Philly, you look at the Texans, they're basically the same team. You can't really trust those offenses. There's no, and I think the reason why everybody has the Rams as this, the favorite is because they seem being the most balanced team. So it's like, how do we even approach this? Because it's possible that the 49ers offense might just be good enough to just overcome their defense this year.
I think it would be tough to do it for 3 games, right? Where if you get the bye, maybe you can make the case. But the market also still doesn't love this team.
Yeah.
Too. Like the market remains heavily skeptical of how good they actually are.
They're a home dog. Week 18 against Seattle. Perfect example.
Exactly. So the market is not quite buying the Niners hype either.
There's a part of me.
Go ahead, Raheem.
There's a part of me that wants to buy in on San Francisco, just because I just think there's not any balanced teams out there. And if you they're 9-1 to win the Super Bowl right now. They win that game. Now you essentially got 3 home games.
They're not leaving Santa Clara. They could take it all the way to the Super Bowl, including the game in Santa Clara. How should you be proud of me? Before this Bear game, I took the Niners plus 2-1 to win the division.
Good one.
So we won't be betting Week 18. We just will be heavily invested in rooting for San Francisco to go and bring it home. And I know a lot of you may have Seattle futures, so we'll have to see on that. All right, AD, that was juicy. What's take 2?
Take 2. I've been a Steelers skeptic for a while. I am not a fan of this roster. With that being said, this line at 3.5 in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. I mean, Raheem and I talked about this yesterday on the Sunday pregame show, and I said that I thought the Ravens would be a favorite, maybe like 1.5. 3.5 feels like a big adjustment from 6 days ago when we all wrote the Ravens off and we all penciled Pittsburgh in for the division. They had one big game, Baltimore did, against a bad defense, and ran it up on a team that's very injured right now. And then on the other side, we saw Pittsburgh have a flat showing in Cleveland, which if you only judge teams on how they play in Cleveland, there wouldn't be any good teams in the NFL. So part of me wonders.
That's such a great point, AD. That is as brilliant as it gets, by the way. Brilliant.
Are we just overreacting now? Like 3.5? 3.5?
Here's my only pushback, AD.
In Baltimore like 3 weeks ago.
I'm with you. I think it's an outrageous line. The DK Metcalf suspension is a huge problem for the Steelers. Who is Aaron Rodgers throwing the football to? That's the only pushback I have for the outrageous price, where just the odds makers are looking at it and they're saying, oh my goodness, it's Valdez Scantling, it's Adam Thielen, they didn't use Freiermuth for the entire game, and yet he comes alive in the final drive. Why that happened, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Arthur Smith. That would be my only thing, House. This idea of the Steeler offense not being able to function in any way without Metcalf.
Is Alan Lazard on a team right now? I mean, I'm checking.
I actually think the Jets released him. They should sign him. I mean, he stinks, but at least Aaron Rodgers knows him.
Yeah, he knows him. He knows where to find him on the football field. I do think it was very, very evident very early on that they had an incomplete offensive game plan. They did the thing that Myles Garrett told everybody when he came into the press conference. They had schemed up how to protect against me getting a sack. They had nothing else. They had half of a game plan, a third of a game plan. Don't let Myles Garrett sack Aaron Rodgers. Okay, great job. What about getting 4 yards on the ground? What about running the ball? The Cleveland Browns rush defense is good, but they have this two-headed monster. We Gainwell catching balls out of the backfield, 3 tight ends that could go over the middle of the field and catch footballs. We saw none of it out of that Steelers off. So maybe the extra week and the familiarity with the Baltimore defense, we'll see a little more dynamic play. But I mean, 3.5 is an insane number. That's just crazy talk. What in the hell has anybody seen out of this Baltimore Ravens team this entire season that suggested they could be favorite by, honestly, more than 2.5? If you want to make them a favorite, go ahead and do it. That's fine. But what's the thesis for more than 3?
Don't have an answer. Funny. And long story short here, AD, I think you're betting Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I looked at this. Pittsburgh is 27th in plays of 20-plus yards. There's only one game all season where they had more than 5 plays of 20-plus yards, and it was against Baltimore in the first meeting. And I think that's just an inherent issue in this matchup, I bet the under in that game, and it went over. The Ravens' defense, in theory, shouldn't be too punished by Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh doesn't have explosiveness, and we've seen the Ravens, because of their lack of pass rush, teams are able to throw the ball down the field on the Ravens. Pittsburgh, even despite their limitations, and maybe even without DK Metcalf, could generate enough big plays in this game just solely because, again, Baltimore's pass rush is not what it's been in years past. So Rodgers is not under the level of duress that he usually is.
Quickly, take 3.
Yeah, take 3 is I am in agreement with the Falcons, although I was thinking, like, what's the best way to play this? Not just taking the 7.5. So what if we did a Rams first half, Falcons come back to win parlay? The South
frisky.
play.
Wow.
Frisky.
Because we have seen a few things with these two teams. One of which is that, look, the Falcons have been pretty good and pretty competitive in comeback mode, even against good teams or teams that are supposed to be better than them. Although we've learned maybe Tampa Bay is not very good at all. When they unleash the passing game, they've had success. And the Rams, if there is a weakness for the Rams, we've seen it a few times this year where they've had leads and struggled to hold them, or they've struggled to get stops because their secondary is a little bit undersized, it's a little bit undercooked, and teams have kind of exploited that. You go back, I mean, of course, Philly was the most notable one. They've had other games too, though, where you're just like, oh, this defense, as good as it is metrically, as good as the pass rush is, if you're able to get to that back half, you have a lot more success. So I don't mind like a Rams first half Falcons win, especially since the Rams don't really need the game.
Frisky, that's your best bet. Boys, real quick, best bet house, hit me.
I love that teaser. I'm going to tease the Rams down to 1.5 along with the Indiana Hoosiers at 0.5 point. Let's go.
Love it. Raheem.
Philadelphia Eagles -7 and a hook.
For me, the Buffalo Bills, the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs. Take them all just to win at even money, and you'll have yourself a very festive Week 18. That's going to do it for East Coast Bias here on the Ringer Gambling Show. For Anthony Dabbundo, Joe House, Raheem Palmer, John Jastremski signing off. Happy New Year, one and all. There will be content throughout the course of the week. AD, House back later, college football winners, Week 18 winners. The gang's got you covered. Happy New Year, one and all. Be good, everybody.
Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. You must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York in New York